Every day I like to look at car garage videos, the exploits of their everyday buying and selling, and pretty much every day at least one of them will have a problem customer video or the nightmare customer from hell. Thankfully that doesn't happen with me very often in my line of work, but when it does, it's quite memorable. But before we get onto those 5 cases, I could go through a long list of honourable mentions that you look back and you see the funny side of, but I'll just keep it down to one, or else this will be a very, very long video. And one couple bought in a set of binoculars, and they were out of collimation. He said, I picked them up one day, I'm seeing a double image, could they be replaced or fixed, please? And his wife looked at him and said, oh, you dropped them, didn't you? Yeah, and then there was an awkward silence where he looked at her, she looked at him, they both looked at me, I looked back at them, and I said, I'll see what I can do, which is what I did. And I don't know if you know now with particular binocular warranties, like you get the warranty card, etc., and you have to register with the brand, not with the dealer. So I think a lot of brands are sort of realising people are maybe being economical with the truth and are less likely to be so if they have to deal direct with a brand rather than the little guy. But anyway, on to the 5 cases. So somebody bought, I think it was a Celestron Ultima 80mm, the ED version that discontinued, and he brought it into me. He said, oh, got a bit of a problem. I said, yeah, no worries, let me know what the problem is. And he says, I'm seeing reflection when I'm looking through it. I said, oh yeah, explain more. He says, well, it's okay when I'm outside, everywhere, nature reserves on location, no problem. But when I'm inside the house, looking through my bedroom window, closed, remember, looking through extra piece of glass, he said, I can see reflection. I said, well, you will do because you're looking through a window that's closed. You're going to see the reflection of the room behind you. Oh, no. But it's fine. I go to nature reserves out on location. Not a problem. I'm only getting reflection when I'm looking through this window, this closed window full of reflection. And we were getting nowhere. I couldn't explain. He says, I couldn't come up with a solution for him. He says, oh, I'm going to contact Celestron. I'm going to put in a complaint about you. I said, please do, but explain exactly the situation. And off he went, not happy, and I never heard from him again. Anyway, so that's number 1. Number 2, the van floor episode, or number of. Somebody brought in a set of binoculars that bought from me, where one side had all come loose and I couldn't repair it. And I looked outside because they've come to see me a few times before, and I says, have you been putting them on your van floor? Because if you put binoculars on your van floor in a glove box, when you're driving, they are in effect being hit with a hammer. Yeah, that is misuse. They're going to break. And it was like trying to get an answer out of a politician as to whether they put them on the van floor or not. And so anyway, I replaced them. And anything for a quiet day. And just as they was going out to the van, I had to go get something from my car. And they put the binoculars under the seat on a metal floor. And I says, you have been putting them on the floor, haven't you? And which didn't really get much of a response. Anyway, a couple of weeks later they came back. Exactly the same thing had happened. They broke, and I said, it's because you've been putting them on the floor, haven't you? Well, our other binoculars didn't break. Like, we've had them years. They were probably from the World War II, made out of granite or something, I don't know. But, and I couldn't get through to them that you can't put them on a van floor. But, oh, nothing wrong with our other set. But anyway, what they decided to do was, so can we get a much stronger set, a better quality set? And I agreed to this. And it turns out that given the replacements and going on to this set, it was pretty much a break-even purchase. So I hadn't gained out, I hadn't lost anything. And I said, I'm not going to be able to help you anymore if you continue though to put them on the van floor. I've not heard from them since anyway. So that was the van floor episode. Number 3, somebody bought, I'll not say the shop name, but that one that sounds like a big river, you know what I mean, beginning with A, bought a spotting scope off me, and a week or two later they said, oh, can we return, change your mind? I said, yeah, you're perfectly entitled to do so, consumer rights, etc, etc. I got it back and it didn't look right when I took it out, and it had been completely dismantled. This is a nitrogen gas filled spotting scope, completely sealed unit. It had been completely dismantled. I mean, lens elements taken out the eyepiece, out the objective a bit, and just somehow put back together. Those fingerprints on the inside, and why on earth would somebody do that? And I took legal advice and was told, send it back, don't refund them. And that's what I did. And he said, oh, I'm not happy with this, I'm never going to buy from this place again. I thought, oh, thank God for that. And yeah, he was never heard from again. And then things, you know, for the last 2 customers, this, you know, got quite serious, because I think it was a similar spotting scope to the Ultima, where somebody basically rang me up, right, I'm on my way to your house now, and this was travelling maybe 100 more miles away, got a problem with my scope and I want it sorted today, I'm on my way up. Like, and he turned up and he had his mate in the car outside my own house, in case I didn't want to play ball. You know, that was the threat, and it was at my doorstep. And it turned out, literally, he had a screw loose, because after they went, I rang up the brand and they said, oh yeah, the eye cup, it does happen sometimes, just it was a loose focus wheel. And they said, oh, just peel back the rubber and you'll see a little grub screw inside, tighten it, done. And that was it, it was fixed. And yeah, I sent it back to him, and you know, he was happy in the end. But yeah, that, as Clint Eastwood once said on his film Gran Turismo, things nearly got ugly. Yeah, and then finally, things nearly did get effing ugly. Somebody bought a Skywatcher telescope off me, and I demonstrated it at our optics week and put everything nicely together, and I think it was the slow motion controls, but he screwed them in, not a problem, and he bought it. And a few days later he rings me up, not happy. He said it's all threaded, like, and what I'd explained to him, that would have only threaded if you went in it with, you know, tried to screw it in with too much vigour. Like, that's the only way it could possibly have been threaded. No, it's obviously faulty. And yeah, and I says, yeah, well, no problem, just bring the head back and I'll get another one sorted under warranty. You know, even though I knew that was, you know, buyer error, you just simply threaded it. No, I want my money back. And so he came to my property, and let's say he made his way past me into my front room, and he was not leaving until I paid him. I give him a refund. Thankfully, I had cash on me, and if I hadn't had, who knows how that would have happened. And so I just gave him the money back, said get out my house, and off he went, and I slammed the door so hard behind him the glass nearly flew out. But yeah, that, you just look back at that and you think, why am I actually bothering with this business? And yeah, and you thought it was quite easy buying and selling. And there are actually 3 other things that happened other than these 5 that are actually so distressing, cause so much distress to me, I'm not going to talk about on camera, because believe me, you don't want to see a grown man cry. So anyway, that's 5, well, you could say nightmare customers from hell that have happened to me over, well, earlier years. It's not happened for, you know, it's been quite quiet other than the usual warranty claims since then, but yeah, anyway, something different. I thought I'd share that with you, get it off my chest, so to speak, and I'll see you next time.